Mabuhay! Welcome to Starby's YouTube channel. Anyways, so for today, my topic would be sharing a few secrets or tips with regards to Filipino men. And I could say that I am able to provide some tips because number one, I am Filipino. Number two, my father is Filipino. Number three, I married Filipino. Number four, I've dated Filipino. Number five, I have a Filipino brother, Filipino cousins. Number six, I pretty much grew up in the Philippines, maybe half my life. Number seven, I know the Filipino culture. And number eight, I guess it's the experience, right? So I'm not saying I'm the authority or an expert, but based on what has happened to me, based on my unfortunate experiences, that I could definitely say that, there are red flags that we should watch out for. It doesn't necessarily mean it is the end of the game if you find a red flag with your man, but it is a start of conversation with that special person that you would want to either marry or have a serious relationship with. So these are just the red flags that I do hope would help you in trying to get that relationship with a Filipino man going into a more prosperous, or whatever you want to call it, or a more serious level of commitment. So why don't we start off with asking yourself, what do you want? What do you need? What do you hope for in the man that you are looking for? So whether you are looking for a Filipino man, an Asian man, or whatever ethnicity or culture or cultural background you're looking for, you need to first understand what you need, what you want, what you hope for. Everything else would fall into place, because then you'd be able to filter who is perfect for you, what would make you happy. At the end of the day, it is really your happiness and also the other person's happiness that's important, right? We can't force things we can't force anything into a relationship, because it's just not going to foster happiness, nor will it bear any fruits of love, right? So, like I said, know what you want, know what you need, know what you hope for, and then from there be able to filter and see who is the perfect man for you. But for today's topic, we are talking about Filipino men. And I have a few red flags that I could share with you that, if you are planning to date one, or if you are already dating one, or if you are in the process of marrying one, then you'd be able to kind of save yourself some heartache by, knowing this. So let's start off with red flag number one. Oh, before I start this, I guess all of the red flags that I am gonna be sharing with you are based on the Filipino culture. So we all nationalities, we all have our different cultures, and we Filipinos have our own culture, our own tradition, things that we believe in, things that we grew up in and were instilled in us, and that's how sometimes, or most of the time, that's how we think, not just as Filipinos but as Filipinas too, like certain beliefs. So anyway, that's just a background so that you know that these red flags are based on cultural practices, and that it isn't just, it could be a universal thing, but for now, what I am going to use this red flags for would be based on the cultural practices in the Philippines. So number one would be family. Filipinos are known to be very family oriented. Our family is very important to us. We are pretty much our lives revolved around our family. We take care of the elderly, we take care of our siblings. So any occasion, we're always together. It is a tradition in the Philippines that, or not a tradition, it is a practice in the Philippines that, when it's dinner time, everybody sits at the table. You all have dinner at the same time, breakfast at the same time, lunch at the same time. So it's something that's been practiced for generations and generations. And there's nothing wrong with that. The only time that it becomes a problem, especially if you are dating a Filipino man who is so attached to his family, is when that attachment just doesn't, there is no slack. What I'm trying to say is that if you are planning to marry a Filipino man who prioritizes his family more than anything else in the world, then that is going to be a problem, because once you get into a relationship with him, you would be number 2 or maybe even number 3. And as a woman, you would always want to be the queen in his heart. You would want to be his priority, especially when you and him are starting a family. Once you have your own family, you would want your family to be his priority, not his family, meaning his parents, his siblings, his cousins, or whoever, extended family, right? So when you do notice that that is a trend or that is happening, you might want to sit down with your boyfriend or your soon-to-be husband and say, okay, once we do get married, or once this whole thing gets really serious, where am I in your priority list? Now, if this person says, oh, mom and dad is important, or my family is important, and then my work, and then you, then maybe it's something that you might want to think about, because I don't think that being number 3 in someone's life would make you happy. There's not going to be enough love to go around if it's being already used up in the other priorities in his life, and you might feel left out or neglected. Another thing would be if his decisions are mostly based on what his parents would say or his siblings would say, that is a problem. So let's say you're a few weeks or a few months away from your wedding day, and then you go, okay, so where are we moving? Like, where are we building our home? And your soon-to-be husband says, oh, let's go build a home near my mom's house, or a few blocks away from my mom. Ding, 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 ding. I don't know if you're gonna enjoy that, but I don't think I would, right? I mean, I don't know your relationship with your soon-to-be in-laws, but really, can you just cut the umbilical cord and just, start building your own family? Yeah, that is something that you would really need to talk to him about. Or if his decisions are based on their yes and no, that is a problem. So number 1, red flag is family. How tight is he, or how attached he is with his family? Number 2, I've got my cheat sheet here, is, again, if your 30-year-old boyfriend is still living with his parents, yes, we Filipinos, we love to keep our babies at home. I'm a mom, I have 3 kids. I wish I could keep all my babies here at home until I grow old and gray. That's how we are. That's our practice. That's, we keep them to ourselves. But it's 2018. Children should learn how to be independent. Children should learn how to be responsible. If you have a man who is in his 30s, still lives with his parents, whether or not he's in the Philippines or he is in anywhere in this universe or in this world, but still lives in with his family, or with his mom and dad, then you might want to scratch your head and go, okay, when is he going to learn the meaning of being responsible and being independent, you definitely want to end up with a man who is, number one, responsible, number two, who is independent, and number three, who can stand on his own. If he still lives with his parents, you can only imagine that he isn't paying bills. Maybe if he lives in the US or in Canada or in North America, maybe his parents are asking him to pay bills, maybe. But that is very rare, especially for Filipino families. He probably doesn't clean his home, his house, his room, especially if he's born in the Philippines. Number three, he doesn't cook. Especially again if he's born in the Philippines and they do have maids and he still lives there, then yes, you're marrying almost like a prince. So if your lifestyle and his lifestyle are the same, you are both a princess and a prince, you don't do dishes, you don't do household chores like everybody else in the world, then maybe it's a match made in heaven. But if you are like me, I live here in North America, I need somebody, I need a partner to help me wash the dishes, wash clothes, clean my dog's poo, not my poo but my dog's poo, help me wash the car and do all those shit that needs to be done on a daily basis, then yes, you need a man and not a child. Simply said. Now, okay, so if your boyfriend still lives with the mom or the parents, then you might want to sit down with that boyfriend and say, hey, honey, what's going on? Are we eventually gonna grow up here? Are we being responsible? Or, it's something that you really need to talk about. It's going to be a struggle or a challenge for you to try to grow or a man. I know it sounds weird, but yes, you don't want to be that person who is actually babysitting so that your man would eventually grow up. Okay, red flag number 3, friends. Filipinos by nature are very social. We love to hang out with friends. We thrive surrounded by friends. But having said that, there should be limitation, right? So when I was younger, I enjoyed hanging out with my friends, but as soon as I got married, as soon as I had responsibility, it wasn't just me, I now have kids to take care of, I became picky with my friends. My going out, getting drunk has definitely lessened. I'm not saying I don't have fun, I still have fun, but the thing is, you now have different priority. So if your friends are really your friends, they would understand that, hey, you can't just pluck me out of from my family at like 1 a.m. just so we could go clubbing or dancing or drinking or something. Now, if you are with someone who is still into clubbing, going out, drinking, hanging out with friends, or even, going out of town with friends, then it's something, again, that is a red flag, because it's a habit. It's something that they would want to continue doing because it's fun. Who wouldn't want to have fun, right? So it's something, it's fun. But like I said, you need to set boundaries. Now, if that boundary is something that your boyfriend isn't ready to set, then that is a problem. So again, you have to sit down with that boyfriend of yours or that soon-to-be husband of yours and say, I think, we need to set boundaries, especially when we jump into or get into a more committed relationship. So yes, friendship. I'm not saying that boys or men or women cannot have friends. Yes, we need friends. No man is an island. But what I'm saying is that know your boundaries. Know when your man should say no. He needs his man time too, his alone time or his time with his friends. But those are very those are not very often, right? I mean, maybe once a week is pretty good, I could say, because then he would want to spend time with you, or spend time with his family, or maybe spend time with, if you have kids, then spend time with your kids, right? So yeah, I'm not saying friendship or having friends is bad. I'm just saying, just have your boundaries, limitation of, how often and how late or how far your husband or boyfriend could go. Okay, next red flag. I call this the knight in shining armor red flag. Well, we Filipinos, again, are very known for being, aside from being hospitable, we are very friendly. We are very helpful. We tend to extend ourselves. That's who we are. I mean, that's what we know of ourselves. A good example is, Filipinos are sought after as workers, regardless whether, especially in abroad, because they do know that if you hire a Filipino worker, that he is a workhorse. You ask him to just gather all the garbage. A Filipino would not just gather the garbage, he would gather the garbage, put it in a black bag, and throw it out in the garbage bin. That's Filipino for you. So, it's just natural, right? So, now, when I'm saying my knight in shining armor red flag, okay, so when I'm talking about my knight in shining red flag, it is when your boyfriend or the man that you're dating or your soon-to-be husband is extremely knight in shining armor. Like, he's so helpful that it just freaking doesn't make sense anymore. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. So, let's say you go to a club with your boyfriend or somewhere where it's, quite social, and you're sitting at a table with your boyfriend, and across the room, your boyfriend or your friend or your soon-to-be husband sees a lady at the other end of the room who doesn't have a chair. But the lady has company, right? Other men or other women, who cares, right? Whether she's alone or with her friends. And your boyfriend, because he is a knight in shining armor, gets up and gives his chair to that one specific lady. What do you think? Is that being helpful? Or there's something else going on in your Filipino boyfriend's mind? That's just one example. Another example would be, now this is for real. This is for real. This happened to me. So, I had my Filipino boyfriend, and yes, he is one of those Mr. Knight in Shining Armor red flag. And we were at the beach, and we were having a picnic, barbecue, and all the kerfuffle, everything else, right? And right in front of our tent, there were these two ladies in their two-piece bikini on their beach towels, sunbathing. And my boyfriend, or ex-boyfriend, took it upon himself to grab two cold water bottles to give to those ladies. What the fuck? Really, what the fuck? Just doesn't make sense. Number one, those girls came there on their own accord. They wanted to burn their asses off. That's their problem. Number two, they've got their beach towels, their sunglasses. They even have their little boombox, their little music there, right? Boombox, people still use that word. Anyway, have their own music. How in the world, if you're planning to bask in the sun for hours and hours upon hours, why didn't you even think of bringing water? Maybe they do have water in their purses or in their beach bags. I don't know, because I really didn't care. But no, my knight in shining armor ex-boyfriend took it upon himself to give them water because he felt like, oh my god, they're dehydrated. I fucking don't care if they are dehydrated. You are my knight in shining armor and not their knight in shining armor. I don't understand the logic behind that, behind being so nice that it irritates the woman that you're with. I don't think that's being nice, honestly. I think that's just, getting yourself some brownie points so that you'll have, you'll end up having, after that day at the beach, you're like going, oh my god, women still like me. They think I'm cool. They think I'm this gorgeous, hot-looking Filipino man who's so nice. Like, fuck that. I'm sorry. It irritates me. So that is red flag number 4. When your Filipino man is an extremely knight in shining armor, that is fucked up. Honestly, fucked up. Number 5. Oh, this one. This is a very touchy one. Filipino men enjoy strip clubs or girly clubs. It'd be okay if it's just strip clubs, strip clubs in North America, especially here in Canada. There's like no touch. You get to watch them. They're up on the stage. They dance. Or you might be special. You want to spend $20-25 and do a lap dance or something, and that's about it. In the Philippines, there's a little bit more extra happening. They do have that happy ending thing, so you could go to certain clubs that just provides happy ending. Not even like dancing, but just happy ending. Now, if you are dating someone who is still into that juvenile pastime of watching strippers and going to and paying someone for a happy ending, then you are in sort of big trouble, because then it is a habit that will just linger and linger and linger, especially if you do not cut it. So what I'm trying to say here is, if you notice that your boyfriend, the person that you're with, the husband that you're going to be marrying soon, is very much interested in strip clubs or that happy ending shit, you really need to talk to that guy. I do understand that, when men have their stag party or they have this whatever party, they go to those strip clubs. Those ones, for me, those ones are okay. I'm confident enough as a woman to have my man go to that and celebrate with his friends, his last hurrah before he gets married or something. But for my boyfriend or for my partner to just randomly go to those places just because, that's something that I frown upon. Maybe it's just me, but I would rather have my boyfriend, a Filipino boyfriend, if he wants to wind down or take the stress out, that he spends time with me and we do something together that would make him feel relaxed, rather than him go somewhere else and have a happy ending. I could provide him that happy ending. It might even not just be a happy ending. It might even be a happier ending, right? But yeah, if your man is still so juvenile and still wants to spend time with paying women, then that's something that you really need to talk to him about. And again, these 5 red flags that I have given you, they're just pretty much based on what the practice or the practice in the Philippines, or I guess our culture. I don't know. That's just how we grew up. That's the environment that we grew up in, and pretty much those are acceptable in the Philippines, and some people can get away with it. But if you're the type of woman who number one doesn't want to be number two or number three priority in your man's life, then take heed with my tips. Or if you are a woman who feel that your boyfriend or husband should be a responsible, independent man, then again, heed my warning. If you are again a woman who feels that your boyfriend or your soon-to-be husband should be spending more time with you and should let go of his being single and single lifestyle, then again, heed my warning. Number four, if you're the type of woman who feels that your man is only your knight in shining armor and he will only, pull out his sword to save someone when it is a matter of life and death, and not when somebody is just sprawled on the floor in their two-piece bikini and he just wants to give them water, then yes, definitely heed my warning. And the last one, which is happy ending stuff. If you're a woman who loves your body, your temple, I think you might want to have your man stop getting his hoo-hoo, is that the right word? His ding-dong, get his ding-dong caressed by somebody else. That's just me. So anyway, I do hope that you have learned a few lessons or tips or tricks from me, and I hope to post another video soon because I have so many things in this little head of mine, or is it big head? I freaking don't know. But I have so much stuff in this head that I want to share with everyone. And I think it's the time now to share it, right? So if you do have other topics that you want me to talk about, please feel free to write your comment down below. Like this video, subscribe, press that button, subscribe, like this button, and thank you so much for watching my video. Again, this is Star B. I love you all. Stay positive and smile.